Hey guys, it's Chris, and today I have something totally awesome for you. I was at a GMS conference recently, that's Guild of Music Supervisors conference, and I met a duo called MUNNYCAT. And MUNNYCAT basically are massively successful in sync. And I managed to pull them away from their music for a little bit and get an interview with them. I'm about to introduce you to them. But here's right off their bio. It's like they got so much stuff going on, I couldn't even memorize it all. So MUNNYCAT is a production duo made up of LA-based songsmiths Kato 8 and Khaled Zoo. Their anthemic noise pop is mixed with golden age hip hop, has landed them over 200 syncs with Fenty Beauty, Facebook, Adidas, Nike, New Balance, Lululemon, Cadillac, the NFL, Wendy's, eBay, Target, JCPenney, Benefit Cosmetics, FIFA 19, Xbox, Airbnb, and more. So that more could have been, it's unbelievable, right? How well they've done. They just released the single Full Bronto on March 20th, and the video is coming out on April 1st. Another single, Don't Stop, Drip, Drip, Drop, hit the #1 on Hype Machine. Two total collaborators, says right here in the bio, guys. They love each other, they live together, they write and produce together, they even shoot and edit their own music videos together. MUNNYCAT makes energetic and empowering neon-colored West Coast bops with car-rattling kick drums and grimy percussive layers. Wow.
Wow, that was great, man. That was a lot.
You guys are a lot. That is incredible. Guys, like, that is amazing, all that stuff that's been happening. So it was really cool to run into you guys at that conference. So I was in the audience and you guys were on this panel. And when I heard that you guys talking about what you were doing and all that, I thought, I have to interview you guys for our community because it's amazing. So
be part of your community, man. Thank you for thinking of us.
Cool, guys. And so I always like to ask this, and I always wonder about this when I talk to pros, whether it's recording or like music supervisors or anybody like that. So before sync, right? Before all of this stuff that you guys have been doing, which is incredible. How did you get into music? Was it like a childhood thing? Or did you fall into it later? How did that happen for each of you?
You want to go first?
You can go first.
Well, I just wanted to be a Spice Girl when I was little. I dressed up as Baby Spice for career day in 3rd grade. And so I knew really early on that I wanted to make pop music. And then I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, where there wasn't a music industry. So I sort of just had to start like doing all of the parts myself, you know? Like I just started writing songs because I wanted songs, and then I started playing the guitar because I wanted somebody to play them. But like ultimately, the goal was to have a pop record, and so I didn't really know any pop producers, so that's how I started producing music. It was because I knew what I wanted it to sound like, but I didn't know anybody who could help me do it. So then I learned production, and it kind of like brought us together, just music.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how I got into it.
I had a musical family, like not like famous, but they all played. You know what I mean? So my dad plays piano and sings, plays accordion. My brother always made beats growing up. My aunts are, and I have like cousins that are like opera singers. So I've always had a lot of music in my family. My one grandpa played banjo on my mom's side. So we just always had music, and we had a piano in the house. I had an acoustic guitar. I just kind of always played music for fun. My brother had digital samplers and stuff when I was little. So we were in Youngstown, Ohio. Like I said, we weren't like in the industry. It was just like music because we loved making music. So my brother would write raps and stuff like that, and he'd scratch and he'd do kinds of stuff like that. And then I started a rock band. I made a record when I was young in my basement with my brother, just like on a little VS 840, which is like this old recording station that did like the zip discs. But it was a dinosaur, but it was really dope at the time. And we did that, and I just kind of started selling them out the back of my car. And after I had made like a couple hundred of them, I was like, wait a second, I should probably play a show. Like, people like this. So then I started a band, and then the band led me to meeting. I had a rock band. We played all over the country. We'd like book our own tours. We're a little too DIY for our own good in most cases. But I had a rock band that we played like 400 shows. We played like Red Rocks and the Bitter End and Nashville and in New York and Exit End in Nashville, all kinds of stuff. So I just was always making music and just kind of stumbling in the direction I wanted to go for just many, many years. Like I just knew I wanted to make music. So try this. And then we actually, and then we met, and then that's the next chapter, I guess.
The next chapter is when we met.
So that was a long answer probably too, but just kind of stumbling that direction. I feel like for just many, many years, just going, I kind of want to go there. I think she has a lot more vision. Like I feel like you were like, I want to be a Spice Girl with a pop record. I was like, I like making things.
You just like make everything all the time. And I think that Colin could easily, if he put his energy into visual art, I think he could be like one of the best visual artists in the world. Like I just think he oozes making. He just has to make stuff. And so whether it's video stuff or like music stuff or anything that's art, like I just feel like you're just so good at it, and music's just what you chose. You know,
it's probably like a lot of musicians. Like I feel, or a lot of artists. Like I feel like when you're creative, you just got to get it out of you. It's like a therapy or something you need to like, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just that. Like I've just always, when I was a little kid, I drew, and I just need something to keep myself sane, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, so that's awesome to hear how you guys individually were doing that. Now, in your bio, you guys meet at a lot of different levels. I mean, that's amazing. How did that come about? Like, how did you run into each other, and then how did that relationship form? You know, especially musically, obviously, and stuff.
Yeah. Well, in my journey to being a Spice Girl, I wanted to perform my songs in front of people, and so I booked a show at a bar in our hometown, and it was like probably my second or third show that I had ever played out live in front of anyone, and I did not bring all of these people, but it was a really busy, bumping night at the bar, and the bar owner thought I brought everyone. And so he was like so impressed. He thought it was so awesome. And he asked me if I would be in charge of putting together his St. Patrick's Day party, where we were going to have 20 bands, 4 stages, and I was putting together all of it. And it sounded really fun. And it sounded like something that would help me get my name out in the artist community and to a bunch of new people that might not have heard my music. So I was like, yeah, I'll totally do it. I don't know any bands though. So I started asking around, and everybody I was asking kept saying, you have to get the Zoo. Like the Zoo is the best band in Youngstown, nay, the world. Like you have to get the Zoo. They're the coolest. So I looked them up on YouTube. I fell in love with their music. I thought they were so cool. So I looked up this guy on Facebook. I messaged him.
That's my rock band.
Yeah, that's his rock band. I asked him if his band would like to play our St. Patrick's Day party that I was throwing.
So yeah, I get this message, and if you have, all the people that have had collaborative projects with bands, you always got to like communicate to everyone in your project, right? So before talking to anybody else in the band, I said like, yeah, we'll totally do the show, because I thought she was really hot. And I was like, this girl oh, cool. And I thought she was just really awesome. So I went to band practice later that night, and I was like, hey guys, we're playing on St. Patrick's Day. And they were all like, cool. So how much are we making? Is there a PA? Like, what's the sound system like? Are they helping with promotion? Like asking all the smart questions you're supposed to ask. And I was kind of like, yeah, well, I guess, yeah, we're gonna. And I had no real answer, but I just thought she was really, really pretty. And then we got there, and she was, and she's just a wonderful human. And I even told the guys in the band, I'm like, I just kind of want to be around her. I like her. Like it wasn't like I want to be your boyfriend or whatever. I just thought she's fascinating. She's really talented. She writes great songs. Super cool, very kind. And then we just kind of organically grew from there. We started getting coffee a couple times, and then it just ended up being a really, really good match. In the beginning, though, I'm like a big fan of her. She has a project that's under K-8 that's all pop music, and it's like darker alt pop. And honestly, it sounds funny, but we didn't collaborate for a very long time. We kept them very separate for a myriad of reasons. But like I feel like it was like one of the reasons on mine is that I was genuinely a fan, and I was like, I can't add to this. Like, I like it as it is. Like, we could make new stuff together, but I didn't want to like work on her stuff. Then we started kind of tiptoeing into it, and like we would co-write songs together, or she'd produce a song that my rock band did, or I'd write something with her, or I'd help with some stuff on her production. Because we both do both of those things, so it was kind of fun to like see what happened. And then everyone seemed to respond most to that.
The stuff we did together.
So we kind of got our heads out of our butts and like,
because it was so much funner to make the music together. Too. So once we realized that, it was.
And we did a separate project to keep it so it would be completely free of any of the other expectations. Like when you're an artist and you have some music out, you know, and you totally shift gears, you know, there's all these, you get in your own head, right? So we just went, let's just make a whole new project called MUNNYCAT, and let's just do what our brain baby would sound like together.
Amazing. Amazing. And then so you started off just making music for music's sake. So how did that translate into music licensing? Like, how did that transition happen?
Well, we started going to music conferences when we lived in Ohio, just so that we could get involved in the community and maybe write with some people and just sort of see what it was all about.
She was really good at this. This is like, you're like, one of your superpowers is like, she knows how to like know exactly where she's going and then try to reverse engineer it, right? So I think she was like, I want to do this. I want to make records. I wanted to have, you know, it's all in California, it's all in Nashville, it's all in other cities. It wasn't in Youngstown. So she started doing some homework, and she got us involved with like Taxi and some online things that were really cool. They would give us feedback on our songs, and then we got hooked up with, what was the other one of the conferences we went to out here? Durango. We loved Durango, and then GMS. So basically, when we were still in Ohio, we would make these trips out to California just to be around other songwriters and producers and musicians and people in the industry. We didn't know what music licensing really was. I mean, we both did video editing, so we knew of like click license stuff. Like, the world has changed a lot recently. There's nothing wrong with click licensing. We've used them for clients that don't, in Ohio, that don't have a big budget. You can get a cool song for $100 or $60 or whatever. But I kind of thought it was that. You know what I mean? So we were kind of like, we wanted to. But we came out and started writing and meeting all these new people.
And I think that as we were going to those conferences, we started realizing that the rooms were separated. We were going into those, you know, there's like the publishing rooms, and then there's the sync rooms. And we didn't know the difference between either of them, so we would just like kind of go to all of them and see. And then in all of the publishing rooms, I feel like all of the critiques were about like the formula of a pop song, or they were way more prescriptive. They were real harsher, or much harsher on the wording of things. Like if you said something and you wanted to word it a little weird, I feel like they were on you about it a little bit more all the time, just consistently across all these rooms. It was,
and there's a benefit to that. If you're trying to become a bulletproof Nashville songwriter, or you want to get your songs cut by there is benefits to learning those things. Yeah. But for us it was, we celebrate. I felt like we would go into the sync rooms and they would celebrate the weird stuff a little bit more. Right. I felt like you could, and then like a song would sound good, and it wouldn't be, the next step wouldn't be, oh, let's see if we can find an artist for this, or let's see. It was just like, I have $500 to give you right now for this awesome song that you made. It's so unique. I've never heard anything like it. Yeah. Like it just sounded like, oh, well, what? It kind of just happened. It sounds awesome, and it makes sense. Like I always try to say to me, there's so many different ways to try to have a career in the music industry, and there's so many different. And I have friends that hate that skin the cat metaphor, but you know what I mean? Like there's so many different ways to do it. But we kind of organically fell into this world because the music we were making was really, it was upbeat. It was unique. A lot of the tones were really unique. A lot of there's hooks on every level because we really like that kind of stuff. And it did feel like the sync rooms got us more. And and that's just our path. Like you know what I mean? I know like there's other ways to do it. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it did feel like it was really a natural fit for the stuff we were kind of doing.
Yeah.
Because we were really happy. Like, we had just fallen in love. So all the things that, like, you see in, when people are talking about, like, how to be successful in sync, it's like upbeat and, all those kinds of things we were kind of just naturally doing on accident. And it seemed to get magnified once we started actually learning more about it.
Yeah.
Right. And that, I mean, is something that you guys excel at, right? Is being unique and being different. And obviously you guys have put in your 10,000 hours, I mean, this is something that you guys do full time. I mean, there's nothing that replaces that kind of thing. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go to work and I'm going to come home and watch some TV. And I know maybe this weekend I'll bang out a song or two, You guys are living it. I mean,
we do it the other way around, where now we work on our music 5 to 6 days a week, and then we let ourselves watch TV on like weekends.
Yeah.
Well, we reward ourselves at the end of the night.
Sometimes
Sometimes we'll watch a show. We try to find balance.
Too, like he's saying, like, and it's not the luxury, it wasn't always luxury in my life. I always, like, when I was younger, I worked at jobs so that I could make music, and I would get out of my job so that I could go make it. So it is we're very fortunate that we get to have that, but it did come through a lot of those hours. So spending all those hours having a job so that we could make music and using that spare time to get better at music. And, I think that all the things add up. Like, I feel like if whatever success we've had, I would like to, when I think about it, it's all of those things. It's like learning, like, when you're in a rock band, all the things I took from that. You can have a song or a record that you think is dynamite, but when you take it out on tour and you're playing to new crowds every night, you can just tell what's good and what's not.
Yeah.
You may love a song, and it may be your best friend's favorite song, but sometimes, and you should still write that song, but sometimes when we would get it, when you're out there, you just go, that's the one. They love it. And then you got to learn from it. You got to take it. You know what I mean? So that helped with it. Work ethic. I think we both did video production, so I think it kind of naturally led to us understanding what editors need. You know what I mean? Like, they want cut points and they want action and they want it to sound like the same song, but still always be moving forward. And
we're making music videos with our video gear that we have. So it's we're cutting those videos to edit.
Yeah. So when we make our own videos, we're like, we learn what we like about. You know what I mean?
About that.
Totally,
so
absolutely.
It's a perfect storm for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And how did you? So when all this was, obviously all the ingredients in your dish came together in such a beautiful, perfect way. When did you sort of feel like you guys were having success? When did it sort of clue in? We're like, oh, actually, this is like not just a little thing here and there. Because when I was at the conference, you guys were talking about, like, you have people from Disney calling you and things. I mean, how did you're at the very top level of that. When did it sort of become apparent to you that, oh, this is a real path? And was there one sync that you got, or something somebody said, or?
That's a good question.
Because we do, I think it was kind of like so we were always doing that balancing act, especially in the beginning, where it was like, you have your day job so that you can make music. And then when we started realizing that the time in our day was monopolized by making music that had a place to go, it seemed natural. Like, that's when it started to click. When I started to kind of do the inventory of my week and be like, oh my God, I'm really stressed out. I got all this stuff to do. And then I was just like, well, that project that is not music related that I was doing to make money, actually, I have to put that on the back burner. Like, when I started realizing that, and that was really bizarre for me. You know what I mean? Like I said, the idea, to this day, it's still, every time we get a thing, even if it's like a podcast or something little or whatever, we go, oh my God, someone wants to give us money for music. Like, that's awesome. The goal. Like, that's what we've been trying to do our whole lives. Like, you know what I mean? And I can't explain, like, how much time I've spent making music to know money. And losing money.
Yeah, but I do think
so it's very nice.
We came into this knowing that for all of us as artists, I mean, there are people whose job it is to pay artists money to use their music. Yeah. Like, there's someone with a check out there. Yeah. They just need the right song. That's so if you could just make the right song and get in front of them, it is a viable career path to be a musician. Even today, with us not being able to tour right now and all of this weird stuff, you can still it's really exciting so far. I feel like this it's really an exciting time.
It is. Everything changes so fast. Because we're making the weirdest,
coolest shit we ever made in our lives.
Yeah, and somebody still wants it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And how much would you say is between the, say, libraries, licensing agents, or directly from music supervisors? Like, what's your sort of main way that you tend to get your music in front of people?
Well, all of our songs, we have a couple songs that we pitch ourselves that are like our own thing, but usually we try to get them in the hands of a professional. Like, we try to get them into music with the music licensing company.
We do the double whammy.
Oh yeah, we do the double. What's the double whammy? Because
the double whammy is we have really great reps who license our music, but we show up at every single conference we can, so that the people that they're pitching to can put a face to what they're pitching, and that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think you could very easily get. We have a good relationship with the companies that license our music, and we keep in contact with them, and we try to make stuff that, you know what I mean, that we can put our name on and be proud of and perform, but also is going to be good for them. And they have their finger on the pulse. They're talking to supervisors. They know what they're looking for. So it's that nice combination. But like she said, it's also basically like they're going to go out and they're going to find through their Rolodex who might need music. But that being said, we do our part. We try to go to the conferences. We try to maintain relationships that are real with people that are, because the music supervisors are just awesome people trying to do their job. You know what I mean? And they want to license music from people that are talented. Fans. Yeah, they really are. They're looking for good stuff, you know, and sometimes, you know, and sometimes they're literally in control of all of it. You know what I mean? And other times there's a bunch of, if there's an ad agencies, there's bureaucracies, but just basically just getting, like you said, getting out there in front of the people, maintaining relationships, letting them know you're still there. And I actually think that the other part of it is that we actually, because it's an artist project for us as well, which isn't always true for everybody, but we try to actually, you know, like we release music regularly to remind them. So if we are friends with them, they may ping them again and go, oh, what are they up to? And they check it out and they go, oh, that's a cool song. You know,
right.
Always be.
We're always cooking something.
Yeah, always cooking something, because you never know which thing's going to land.
You're always on the front burner to them, right? Because it's not enough, right? It's not enough for a songwriter or somebody just to go in and be represented, right? Because they're in this roster of thousands and thousands of other people. So, but being proactive the way you guys are being, you're always, you know, top of mind, right? You're always like, oh yeah, these guys. And then of course your consistency, I mean, just keeps that ball rolling too, which is fantastic. So.
It's like that front of mind awareness. That's probably the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you need them, even if they like you and they know your music, they got a lot going on. So maybe remind them that you are making good stuff, and it's, even if it's not the right thing for this project, maybe it'll lodge in there, and then you remind them later. Yeah.
Now, just before the call, just before I hit record, rather, before the interview, you kind of pan your camera around. You don't have to do that. But this is your studio, right? This is where you make your music.
So on the other side of this camera of our computer is like a wall of studio foam that kind of wraps around this way. And this is our video editing computer.
And then this is the audio.
This is our audio computer.
Okay.
And then we have our DJ set up over here. And then
around this wall, there's a Fender Rhodes and like a Nord Electro. There's a guitar amp or two. Yeah. There's we have our electric, acoustic, our bass and stuff like over there. We got.
I'm coming over, guys. I'm coming over. That sounds amazing.
When we first moved out here, it was a 2-bedroom, and we were like, "Oh, we should make the spare bedroom our office." And then we were like, "Nah, let's make the living room our office." Yeah, because we're gonna spend the most. That's where we spend all of our time. So let's not hide in a cave. Let's make the main area.
Yeah, totally, man. We lived in we did the same thing. We turned our living room into our master bedroom in one place, actually.
Oh, that's smart.
We're like, we don't have people over that often, so screw it. They can sit on the bed when they do anyway. So
totally.
Dude,
as long as they don't get the wrong idea, you know.
Chris has it figured out, though, for the record.
Yeah.
I feel like you're a very smart guy.
Thank you very much. So the idea is that, what's your workflow? Like, you've got the studio in there. What's your workflow? How generally, like, you wake up in the morning, How does it go?
We wake up in the morning. Sometimes we try and wake up at 9:30.
It's still late for normal
Still
people,
late
but that's
for
early
normal
for
folks,
us.
But we
Yeah.
try and wake
Allowed.
up around. We try and wake up around 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock, and then we make a coffee, and then we walk our good
Walk our
boy
dog.
Henry.
Yep, we try to do some yoga most days.
Yeah, we do a little yoga, and then we just dive in. We usually start working around 2,
Yeah,
sometimes 3, and then we just kind of work until 10.
11.
Yeah, watch.
Earlier this week, one night this week, we were doing something like 12. Last night we were probably doing until 10.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a weird structured day, but we're just.
I
how it
think we
works
get
for
a
us.
little more creative in the evening.
Yeah.
I think in the morning we need to like baby ourselves a little
Yeah.
bit to get moving.
Sure.
But yeah, so we do that, and then we try and like wind down at the end of the night by like watching something together, or playing video games, or
Yeah.
doing something, reading something that's just like for us
Yeah.
again, and then we do
Next
it again.
day, and then do something
Yeah.
next day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What about the neighbors? Do you have a problem with neighbors at all?
Our
Very
neighbors
lucky.
are awesome. So we have one shared wall. All of our walls are independent of, and we're also on top of our garage.
Yeah, so it's a 2-story unit.
Yeah.
We're above the garage. All of our other walls are facing the alley or the whatever.
Yeah.
We have one shared wall with a neighbor, and he is a musician.
He's a musician
So
as
he
well.
gets it. And we just kind of communicate. If we get a little rowdy, so
Sometimes
if we're doing like chant or like yelling
we
or
open
whatever,
the windows
Yeah.
at the wrong time of day, it'll be a little loud. He'll text us, but it's very, there's like an understanding. It's
Yeah.
always cool because
because we'll hear him over there doing dope runs, and we're like, all right, go for it. Like,
yeah,
go.
it's fine.
So yeah,
Yeah,
Totally.
But we're lucky
We're
that
really
does
lucky.
work out.
Yeah.
That's why I never want to leave.
I know.
Man. There you go.
Yeah.
And do you have any tips for like indie songwriters who are starting out? You know, you guys were in this tiny town. I mean, I don't even know where Youngstown?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. And you guys
It's
got
like an
started.
hour south.
Yeah, you guys got started there. So
Yeah.
for all the songwriters who are out there and they're just, starting out in some small place, what maybe tips or advice would you have for them?
Yeah, we actually signed our licensing deal
We-
from Ohio.
Yeah, we still
before we
lived in
moved out
Ohio
here.
when we were doing it for our.
Yeah, we just moved out here to like kick it up a
Yeah.
notch. But I would say, I think that what has helped us the most has been when you're in those small towns, it feels hopeless, like you're on a little island and there's no industry, so nobody can help you. But nobody can really stop you either. I feel like
Yeah.
the bad thing about being in a great music city like LA is everybody has a specialty. Everybody's like, I am a top line writer.
Yeah.
I am a producer. I am a lyricist. Like there's, and that's it. That's the end. I am a web designer. I am a videographer. I am a photo editor,
Yeah.
but I don't take the pictures. Like
Yeah.
that. And I feel like growing up in a little place that doesn't have any of those people around you, or it does, but it's not an industry and it's not as cohesive and like set up. We figured out on our own. We didn't pay any schools
Yeah.
really to help us learn how to produce music. Like we
YouTubeversity.
sort of did the YouTubeversity approach, and we got proficient enough at all of the things that we needed. Oh, this is Martha.
That's our
We
camera.
we got proficient enough at all of the things that we needed to make our artistry look like how we wanted it to look, sound like how we wanted it to sound. Now, there are obviously people that are way better at Photoshop than we are, or that are
Yeah.
better at, technically producing a record than we are, maybe. You know what I mean? But all of our quirks that we learned from learning things, how we learned them, and what our brain looks like, and being removed from the industry of this is what's selling, is what gave us our unique voice as an artist. And it's why people like our music. It's because we're so self-contained. We can and do everything. We even mix our songs.
We used to send them out for like mixing and stuff like that. And we just, after a while, we kind of were like, well, let's just try to learn more about that. So that's a long path. I do agree that's a long path. But I think like what you're saying is like, be you the best that you can be you, and just keep trying to get better at being you, because I know people that chase there's always a different way to do it. I'm not saying we're the only way,
right.
But for us, what did work out was just being us, the most us we could be us, and waiting to find the right person to get that, rather than trying to be whatever you're supposed to be. Yeah. And you're right. I think like all those things we learned made us, especially in our world, the fact that like we can make a song, if somebody says, hey, we want to use this in your commercial, but like that weird war horn in the background is obnoxious, you know what I mean? Like, right. I don't have to call the producer and like hook up with him. So
he's out of town.
Yeah, for our thing, man, that's what I'd say. If you were looking to try and learn from us, that worked for us. It's learning how to do it. And man, even when we listen to songs that we did a year ago or 2 years ago, I listen to them now, and the things that we've learned, we're like, but you just keep making them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And don't let perfect be the enemy of the good.
Yes. It's more important to get something done and then do the next one. You know what I mean? And you'll start to, after a while, when you get that busy, and the cat is being so cute, she's literally sitting on her lap. But if you do that many songs, all of a sudden you're not talking about like what's wrong with this song. You're looking at, out of these last 20 songs I made, these are my best ones. Let me lead with these ones. Or this is in my back pocket, and you meet with a supervisor, and there goes, anybody got a song about a love triangle? And we go, yep, we got it. It's on a Dropbox. And we have it in the back. Maybe you don't lead with it. So it's finding that kind of that balance of being you, the best you can possibly you, and then time.
Yeah.
Right. That's brilliant, you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, to do this. I know you guys are busy working on music and stuff. And for everybody out there, below, in the link below, MUNNYCAT, MUNNY CAT, is a link to their single, and I'm going to add the one to the video. It's going to be there now. If you're watching this after April 1st, it's sitting there. If not, it is coming in time. So
thank you, man.
Thank you so much for talking with us.
And thanks for what you do.
So much fun. I wish we could be together IRL right now.
Yeah, I know.
It's just, I want to see your boat.
Yeah, well, you guys are going to come sailing. Sailing. Okay, so that's going to happen. So we'll just everyone we'll get through this and we'll come out the other side. And we'll all be better for it.
For sure.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you for what you do, man.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.